Hi everyone, we're the Stitch Sisters and we are making a video today to show you how to make a super easy, we're calling it the Waterfall Cape Gilet. It's called all sorts of different things on the internet, which is where we originally found the design. Basically it's a no-sew version of the cape that we've been making in class. And we're going to demonstrate it with this lovely £3 fleece from IKEA. So they're doing this lovely grey colour, you can see there, which we just think when we saw it, we thought, oh, that's nice. Got Gilet written all over it. So we're going to give it a go with this to demonstrate how you can make a really simple, quick shrug, gilet, something to throw on without any sewing whatsoever.
It's like a blanket without arms.
It also serves as a reminder for the people that came to class how to actually fold their fabric and where to mark their armholes, because I think it's easier to show you than to write it down.
Yes.
So this is something they can use as a reference as well. So let's crack on and we'll show you what we're going to do. So here we are, we have our IKEA fleece. This one is actually 130 centimetres by 170. So the first thing we need to do is turn it into a square. So in this case that will be 130 centimetre square. So we're just going to open it out completely, and then I'm just going to fold the short edge over to the long edge just so that I can get an idea of what the square size will be, and then I can just cut off the excess from the other end. So the scissors under there somewhere?
Yes, they are
hiding. There we go. So I'm just going to snip this extra off. Now you can see I wasn't too fussy about making sure that it was the perfect square there. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because the next thing that we're going to do is to turn the square into a circle. So it doesn't really matter if it's not exact. It's just something to get you started.
You don't need to spend a lot of time measuring it at this point. There we go.
Right, there we
That's
go.
the scarf ready to go.
Nice bit of fleece left over for another project, so we'll just pop that out of the way. So we now have...
Can I just point out that Rachel has just cut the end off of my tape measure. Look how she's done that. Very well done, Rachel.
There's a lesson for everybody. Never cut when you've got other things underneath on the table. A number of times I've cut through pattern pieces, cut through
other fabric,
paperwork, because I couldn't be bothered to clear the table before I started. So that's why I did it on purpose.
So you can learn from our mistakes.
So we now have a square, as you can see, a lovely square of fleece. And we're now going to fold it in half, first of all. So we'll fold it one way.
These fleeces from IKEA come in a variety of different colours. You can get the grey is a new one, but we've also bought
red and cream. I mean, I think the grey is the most wearable one. It's the one that least looks like you're wearing.
IKEA fleece. But the other place that we went recently, we went to Primark, and they do some lovely big blankets for about a £5.
Yeah,
I didn't check out the size of them, but it would be worth looking at because they're proper, you know, sort of they're tartan and they would look lovely as a waterfall gilet.
It's worth just taking the time to smooth it out a little bit because the fleece tends to stick to itself, so the layers tend to stick together. So it's worth just taking a bit of time to smooth that out. But now that we've got that in half, we're simply going to fold it again to make a quarter. And you can see now that we've got a much smaller square where we've just folded it into quarters. So the next thing that we need to do is taking a new tape measure, not one that I've already cut through the end of. We're going to just measure and see from this corner here, from the fold, where all the folds meet. So there's no raw edges on this corner, it's all just the folds. We're going to measure out from that point, and we're going to see which length is the shortest, because assuming that it wasn't folded perfectly to start off with, you might have one that's slightly longer than the other. So that one is coming out at just under 26 inches. And then on this side, it's coming out, oh, there we go, 26 inches.
It's exactly square.
So we're now going to take this 26-inch square and we're going to actually curve the edge off. so that we can turn it into a quarter circle. But before I start that, I'm just going to show you here on the IKEA fleece, it does have on the edge these little loopy bits, which I don't want included in the design. So I'm actually going to go for 25 inches just to make sure that I definitely miss those and I don't include those.
Why don't we flip it over before we cut it, and then you'll make sure that you cut them
She's
off.
full of good ideas. She's full of good ideas. Right, okay,
There we
so
go.
measuring out from the corner.
I'm going to pick up the iPad now so that you can actually see the measurements. So excuse me for a moment. So here we go.
So as you can see, I've pinned my tape measure in that corner there, and that's just so that I can swivel it around and just use one hand to mark it out. Although to be honest, I'll probably still have to secure it a little bit.
And
I'm going to grab myself a fabric marker, because the next step is to make 25-inch marks all the way around. So I'm just going to keep rotating my tape measure to make 25-inch marks. Let's just smooth that bit out a little bit. There we go. So I've got a little quarter circle going on there. So the next thing to do is just cut along those lines. Now this is worth you taking your time to make sure you've got a nice clean cut, because we're not finishing these raw edges, we are leaving them raw. So obviously if it looks like it's been chewed by a dog, then it's not going to be very nice. So I am going for speed, so it may well not be perfect. But the reason why the fleece is so good to work with is it does respond very well. Just losing my marks here somewhere, but I can just about see where I'm heading to. Yeah, the fleece does need to be finished in any way. It doesn't really leave you with any raw edges. It leaves you with nice clean edges like you can see here, which is why it's so perfect for a no-sew version. Lovely. Right, so as you can see, we now have a circle. I'm not going to fold it open completely just yet, because I just want to pop a couple of pins in each end so that I can make sure that I know exactly where the halfway mark is. So I'm going to grab myself some pins, and I'm going to pop a pin in each end like so. And that's just so that if it gets moved at any point, I can easily find the halfway mark again. I also need to make sure that I know where the dead centre is. So I'm just going to fold that back for a second so that I can also mark where the centre is. Lovely. The next step is that we need to actually add some holes to our cape for arms so that we can actually wear it, because it's not going to be much use as it is right now. So to do that, everybody obviously differs slightly in their size. So the important thing to do is actually to get somebody to take a measurement of you from armpit to armpit from behind, because that will help you decide where to place your armholes. So I'm just going to turn around here, and Nikki's going to measure my armpits, which is not something I say very often.
17 inches.
17 inches.
Yes.
Okay, so that means that I want my armholes to be 17 inches apart, because then it will be perfect for me to get on. So the next stage is to mark our armholes. So this is the same measurement for everybody. Coming up from this centre point here, I'm actually going to mark 12 inches out from the fold. And then my armpit measurement was 17 inches, so I need to mark half of that either side of the mark, which is going to be 8.5.
That's right.
So I'm just going to place my 8.5 mark on the centre mark there, and so that's one side, and then 17 inches is the other side.
Just come in close so we can see the marks.
Now this is air erasable markers, so those marks will disappear after I've made them after a little bit of time. Now I'm going to make some slits that are going to go down from these points here towards that centre fold. But I don't necessarily want to go all the way down, because I want to start off with my armholes quite small so I can test the fit, and then if I'm happy I can go with it, and if I need to make them a little bit larger then I can do that 1 inch at a time. So I'm just going to grab a ruler. And so I'm going to start off with 8 inches, I think. So I'm going to make an 8-inch mark down towards that centre fold.
That's the centre fold.
And the same
on the other side. Not the middle marking, it's at the one at either side.
Yeah, the middle marking is just there so we can work out where
to
spread them. So I'm now going to cut into those holes. I'm going to cut those slits. And obviously I want to make sure that I'm just doing that on 1 layer of the fabric. I don't want to do that on 2. So I'm going to open it out whole to start off with. And then I'm just going to snip into it so that I can get my scissors in and then cut the armhole the full length of the slit. Same on this side. So now I'm going to test the fit, check if my armholes are the right size. If they're not, I'm going to adjust them by making them a little bit deeper back towards the centre fold, so always towards that pin in the middle, by 1 inch at a time until it fits perfectly. And then when we come back, I will have it on and I will show you all the different ways you can wear it. Hi, so here we are, this is it, the finished
Give
gilet.
it a twirl.
So you could, if you wanted to, you could secure it with a little button if you wanted it to actually do up.
Or a brooch.
Lovely big collar on the back, and then it's got this lovely curved hem. But for £3 and 10 minutes, you know, it's a perfectly wearable item, and you would never know.
You would never know it's from an IKEA fleece.
So I'm going to put it on a couple of different ways and take some pictures and put them at the end of the video so that you can see a few other ways that you can wear it. And if you've got any questions, then please comment below, and hopefully you can go and make a load yourself. Thank you, see you soon, bye.
Bye.